Welcome to Teach to Learn's SAT Critical Reading course. Today we'll give you an overview of this section of the SAT. First, let's talk about grading. You get 1 point for each right question, and you lose a fourth of a point for each wrong question. We'll talk about exactly how to use this in order to strategize for your guessing in later lessons. 800 is the maximum score for each section of the SAT, and 200 is the minimum. For the critical reading section, you'll have two 25-minute subsections and one 20-minute subsection. There are two types of questions you'll see. The first are sentence completion questions, which will test your vocabulary skills. The second are passage-based questions, which will test your reading skills. These will include long and short passages, as well as comparison questions, which will show you two pieces of prose that you have to compare and analyze. The order of questions differs for the two types of questions you will find. For the vocabulary questions, they'll be ordered from easy to hard. For the reading questions, they will come in the order of appearance in the passage. The vocabulary questions are easy to prepare for. First, you need to read a lot. The New York Times is a great thing to read because they use a lot of high-level words that often appear on the SAT. The Washington Post is also similar in this regard. Also, you need to understand that you don't need to know every single word out there. We'll talk about specific strategies that help you make sure that even if you don't have the whole dictionary memorized, you can still score very well on the critical reading section of the SAT. So how will we prepare? First, we'll talk about context clues and how to use them in deciphering the meaning of words and choosing the right words for the sentence completion questions. Then we'll go over common roots so that even if you see a word that you don't initially recognize, you can decipher the meaning using your knowledge of Greek and Latin roots. Then we'll help you memorize commonly tested words so that you are prepared for words that appear often. Finally, because the SAT focuses largely on logical reasoning, we will make sure that your logical reasoning skills in terms of context clues and roots are sound so that you can score well. The reading section will have poetry, nonfiction, and fiction passages. The best way to prepare for this is by taking a lot of practice tests because there is no memorization of skills or formulas when it comes to the reading section. It is important to start thinking critically when you're reading something. You're no longer reading just for pleasure. Your goal is to skim the passage once, read the questions, try to answer them, and then read the passage again. How will we prepare? We'll take a lot of practice questions, and our goal is to write on the actual exam because that is the only way for us to review the thought process that goes behind your wrong answers in the questions. The same way that you show your math work for math questions and figure out what you did wrong, we could do the same thing with your critical reading questions by seeing what you did wrong in the thought process when you were answering the questions. We'll also go over strategies for specific types of questions. So for example, we'll tackle different types of main idea questions that are asked on the SAT, as well as different types of questions that talk about different literary devices.